What do you do when someone's underperforming and you don't know why? They're smart, capable, they want to do a good job, but they're just not getting it done. And maybe this is yourself. I think a lot of people who are perhaps naturally good at leading don't understand a particular limitation in the minds of most people that leads them to give them confusing tasks, basically. That just leads them to spin their wheels and end up producing something unusable. I'll give you a story to help you understand what I'm talking about, and hopefully the advice that I have is going to help you. I really think it will, by the way. If you have someone who you know is smart, but you give things to that person and they just kind of mess up. They just, like I said, miss the mark, or they give you a ton of work. They give a ton of proof that they worked, but nothing usable at the end of it. Okay. So I think back to my current boss talking to our head of HR. So boss being CEO of this young company that I'm chief of staff at, have been for about 8 years. The company's 10 years old. And I built out a number of these processes, a number of these business functions as the company matured. One of those was HR, but I haven't touched that for a long time. Our current HR head was asked to give our CEO basically the information required to make decisions on who would get a raise or not. What our head of HR did is give our CEO a bunch of, numbers in a spreadsheet, and he couldn't use them. And he got a little irate in the meeting, this particular meeting I'm thinking of, but he held himself back a bit because he knew that, I won't name any names, head of HR was trying to do a good job. Ultimately, this caused a delay, quite a long delay. And what our CEO keeps getting annoyed at, he's told me, is that people just don't seem to get that if you put yourself in someone else's shoes, then that gives you the best chance of success. And that's what he wanted our head of HR to do, and what he tried to impress upon him again is, imagine what no names CEO thinks or wants or needs to do whatever he needs to do, and give him that. Or talking from his point of view, he was saying, give me that. Understand what I need and give me that. And he can guess quite well what somebody else needs. But ironically enough, he doesn't seem able to put himself in the shoes of someone else who cannot put themselves in someone else's shoes. He doesn't really understand what it's like to be someone who can't put yourself in someone else's shoes. And most people can't. Most people just can't do that. And maybe they can learn it, sure, but I think it's a very complicated skill that's probably learned quite early, and there's a much simpler way than trying to rewire everyone's brains into, someone who can mind read. And this is the hack that I want you to take and run with if you've ever come across this kind of an issue. It's really simple, but not enough people do it. Give them a template. Give them a template. Imagine the difference between being told, all right, I need to make a high stakes decision on who I'm going to give a raise to or not. Give me the information that I need. Go. Even for someone who understands HR and is experienced in that, it's a tough ask unless they already have a template in their mind. To just invent one from scratch is a huge ask, and people do this all the time. People ask this of other people all the time. People expect mind reading all the time. Imagine the difference between that and saying, here's a blah, blah, blah report, and here's the template that I like. I want this, but filled in by you. with all the right information by this date. Do you see the difference? It's from the vast majority of people, they much prefer the second. They much prefer just being given a thing to do that's clear and then just going away and doing it. And it's remarkable how much we just don't do this, right? It's obviously, you could hear this, oh, okay, give people templates, whatever. What I'm coming to understand is basically almost everything should be done like this. Or even if something is not repeatable, you first, if you're being given something that's vague, okay, so you're not the one, giving the orders, but you're receiving the orders, the same thing can apply. You just say, okay, I think, I'm going to try and mind read here, and I think my boss or whatever wants this, so I'm going to go and research a little bit, get a template, and like immediately, right away, and go and send that to them and say, is this what you want? If I filled this in, would that be everything you need? But people don't do this. And maybe that's the bigger question, is why? What I'm trying to do in this channel is help people to take unmanageable workflows, either their own or their teams or their companies, and contain that in a system that's repeatable and that can be designed and tweaked, and which also understands human nature. So it's a bit of a tall ask, and it also sounds potentially boring, but this is the promise of it. It's masses of saved time. It is masses of messages that never need to be sent. And it's this kind of thing. It's not just saying, oh, a template, okay, we should work from templates more. It's, no, the key in work these days, especially in knowledge work or particular types, is that another brain gets the information that brain needs to do what brains do, which is think and make a decision. And basically, any and all task can be paired with some kind of communication, some kind of deliverable. And if it is, there's complete clarity from top to bottom. There's very little confusion. There's way less messages and pinging back and forth. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Just take this and report back. If you have watched this and something's clicked in your mind, like, yeah, okay, this isn't just about templates and system design. This is about just understanding that a lot of the things that we're doing in business is trying to condense something ethereal into something tangible. And that's all we're doing here. We're not trying to ask someone to mind read. We're just saying, look, here is a thing to fill out. Please get that back to me. And imagine if at least the majority of what you get that person to do is that, right? How much less time will they spend? How much less of your time will they waste? If it's that clear, it's a game changer. But I'm still getting ahead of myself. Just take this tip and try it yourself. Take this hack, if you will. When you're trying to give someone something to do, just pair it with something for them to fill in. Try it. And let me know how it goes in the comments. You can find me on Substack if you want to connect. James of the Bear. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.